Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff Hunt. I'm the director of the Texas Military Forces Museum, also commander of the Texas Military Forces Living History Detachment. Welcome to our Close Assault 1944 program. This is our effort to help us remember what the Veterans Day holiday last Friday was really all about, the service and sacrifice of all the men and women who have worn the uniform and who wear the uniform of the United States Armed Forces. And we're going to help ourselves do that today by focusing on a particularly bright chapter in the long and storied history of the Texas Military Forces, and that's the saga of the 36th Infantry Division of the Texas National Guard in the European theater of World War II. 36th Infantry Division was created in July of 1917, shortly after America's entry into the First World War. It was initially made up of National Guard units from Texas and Oklahoma. Hence the symbolism of our shoulder patch, the blue arrowhead representing Oklahoma, which before statehood had been known as the Indian Territory, with the T for Texas superimposed on top of it. During World War I, the 36th Infantry Division saw 40 days of combat on the Western Front. It participated in the occupation of Germany, returned to the United States in December of 1919, and was demobilized. At that point, the 36th Infantry Division became an all-Texas National Guard outfit, and it remained an all-Texas outfit until it was mobilized in November of 1940 by the emergency declaration of Franklin Delano Roosevelt following the German conquest of Western Europe. Shortly after it was mobilized, the 36th had 4,000 recruits from New England included in its ranks, and by the time the war was over, men from every state and territory will have worn the T-patch. So the 36th, like all divisions, all units in the American military during World War II, became an all-American outfit. Nonetheless, the 36th Division never lost its affinity and its identification with the Lone Star State, and in fact, throughout the war, it was often referred to as the Texas Army. And even men who came from other states to be part of the division were expected to uphold the traditions and standards of the Texans who had originally made up its ranks. 36th Infantry Division trained in the United States, was shipped to North Africa in 1943. On September 9th of 1943, it spearheaded the Allied invasion of Italy at the Gulf of Salerno, thus becoming the first first American division to enter the mainland of Europe. 36th Infantry Division fought its way ashore on the Gulf of Salerno, and then fought its way up the bloody boot of Italy, seeing horrific combat at places like San Pietro, Mount Lungo, the Rapido River, and Monte Cassino. At the end of May 1944, the division led the breakout from the Anzio beachhead, and on June 4th of that same year, it was the first Allied division to pass through the Italian capital of Rome. After chasing the Germans north of Rome for several weeks, the division was pulled off the line, given refresher amphibious training, and then on August 14th of 1945, alongside the 3rd and 45th Divisions, it spearheaded the invasion of southern France, known as Operation Dragoon, the other D-Day. Fighting its way up the Rhone River Valley, the 36th then fought its way through the Vosges Mountains, helped to contain the Colmar Pocket. In March of 1945, it reached the German Siegfried Line and fought its way into southern Germany and Austria, liberating the Landsberg concentration camp along the way. Few divisions in the United States Army during World War II won more glory than the men who wore the T-patch, and very few paid a higher price for the glory earned. Only 5 divisions in the entire Army suffered more casualties than the men who wore the patch of the 36th Infantry Division. What we're going to do for you here today is we're going to talk to you about the uniforms, the weapons, the vehicles, and the equipment that were used and carried and deployed by the men of the 36th, as well as those of their German opponent. And we're going to begin by looking at the basic building blocks of the United States Army in World War II. World War II, the core of the U.S. Army was the Infantry Division, and the Infantry Division was based on a triangular system. What that meant was that everything came in threes. So an Infantry Division had 3 regiments, each regiment had 3 battalions, each battalion had 3 companies, each company had 3 platoons, each platoon had 3 rifle squads. And what you see here behind me is the standard rifle squad of the United States Army in the Second World War, as well as the war in Korea. At the start of the war, 11 of the 12 men in that rifle squad would carry the M1 Garand rifle, and the 12th man would carry the Browning automatic rifle. In late 1943, we subdivided the squad into fire teams, each fire team being centered on a Browning automatic rifle.
One, left and right face. Mark.
So what you see here are the 3 fire teams that would make up a full-strength infantry squad. These men are wearing the standard wool uniform that was the attire of the American soldier in the European theater of World War II. The leggings are canvas to protect the lower feet, to keep the pants from being caught on vines, barbed wire, that sort of thing. And of course, their load-bearing equipment, which carries the ammunition, canteen, first aid pouch, their M1 steel helmet, and their weapon. And in order to talk about the standard weapons employed in the rifle squad of the American Army and Marine Corps in both World War II and Korea, we're going to begin by discussing the M1 Garand Rifle, and to do that, Private First Class Aaron Pippin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Myself and Private Johnson are here to talk about and demonstrate the M1 Garand, this weapon here. The M1 Garand was adopted by the United States military in 1936. It replaced the old Springfield 1903 bolt-action rifle. The M1 Garand is an air-cooled, gas-operated, magazine-fed or clip-fed, shoulder-fired weapon. It is semi-automatic. It weighs approximately 9.5 pounds and it's 43.5 inches long. It can have a fire rate of 40 to 50 rounds per minute and an effective range of 500 yards. The M1 Garand fires in its chamber to the Springfield 30-06 cartridge, and it is maintained in a metallic cartridge end block. And to load the weapon, you pull the operating rod all the way back. I did not move that. And then you will insert your magazine into the operation ports, as Willie is doing. And you'll fire all 8 rounds. Once you fire all 8 rounds, the end block will kick out of the rifle with the audible pinging sound. The pinging sound will let the troop know in the combat that it's time to reload your weapon and fire your weapon. Now, Johnson will demonstrate firing the weapon for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the M1 Garand.
Lieutenant General George S. Patton Jr. declared the M1 Garand rifle to be the greatest battle implement ever devised by man. The United States Army was the only army in World War II that put a semi-automatic rifle into the hands of the ordinary infantryman, which gave the American soldier a very great battlefield advantage over his opponent, who was usually firing a bolt-action rifle. The M1, however, was not the only weapon in the rifle squad. There was an even more powerful weapon, one much beloved and trusted by the GI, and that's the Browning automatic rifle, better known as the BAR. And to talk to you about that, we're going to give you Private First Class Tad Druart.
This is the 1918 A2 Browning automatic rifle, more affectionately known as the BAR. In its standard configuration with a carry handle and bipod, the BAR weighed approximately 22 pounds. However, most soldiers would discard both the carry handle and the bipod, reducing the weight about 6 pounds and making it a little bit easier to carry across Europe. The BAR fires the same 30-06 round as the M1 Garand, making it easier to keep the fire team supplied with ammunition. The BAR has a theoretical fire rate of 400 to 600 rounds per minute. In other words, she eats a lot of ammunition. To keep her fed, she is fed with a 20-round magazine. As the gunner, I would carry 12 to 13 magazines, and then have an assistant gunner who would carry an additional 6. Also, if I were to go down dead or wounded, he would discard his M1 Garand and begin to use the BAR as his weapon. The BAR has an effective range of 1,500 yards. In terms that most Texans understand, if I can see an enemy soldier 15 football fields away, I can shoot him and kill him. The BAR has 2 speeds, fast and very fast. I'll now demonstrate. That is the Browning automatic rifle. With all due respect to General Patton, I think it's the best implement on the battlefield.
The M1 Garand and the BAR were the standard weapons carried by the GI and the Marine in the standard rifle squad. Of course, we're not the only people on the battlefield. We have an opponent, and it's equally vital for us to understand his weapons and tactics as well as our own. And so now we're going to talk about the German Army in World War II, and to do that, we're going to introduce you to Sergeant Richard Gressner and the Wehrmacht.